Hello and thank you for joining me today. My name is Emma Loveday and I work in the commercial development team at DriveTech as an internal fleet and driver risk consultant. I'm going to be talking to you about EVs obviously, but specifically the importance of driver training and education when introducing electric vehicles to your fleet. So a little bit about me and DriveTech first. I've been working at DriveTech for around 18 months, but I've actually been working in the fleet industry for 10 years, specialising in occupational road risk, driver risk management and driver safety education and training. Prior to joining DriveTech, I worked for Thames Water and before that Mighty, managing the occupational road risk for two of the largest fleets in the UK. I also sit on the AFP, so the Association of Fleet Professionals Risk and Compliance Committee. Working at DriveTech, I advise organisations with really diverse fleets on best practice and effective strategies to help them manage driver risk and effectively educate and engage their driver populations. DriveTech is part of the AA and is a market leader in fleet and driver risk management with a broad range of driver training and education services. So let's get started. We all know that the UK is on its way to electric vehicle transition. In 2019, there were over 37,000 new registrations of pure electric vehicles in the UK, which was a 60% increase from 2018. And even more than that, registrations for the first 9 months of 2020 were up 127% compared to 2019. A lot of the customers and organisations that I talk to now are planning or have already started their electric vehicle transition projects, and not just for their company car fleet, but for their operational van fleets as well. So why is driver training and education important for organisations that are transitioning to electric? Ultimately, it comes down to duty of care, because whether you are giving the option to your drivers to transfer to an EV, maybe by including EVs or more EV choices on your company car lists, or enforcing the change by only providing EVs going forward for any new company provided vehicle, you need to make sure your drivers are aware and educated on the differences between an internal combustion engine vehicle and a battery powered electric vehicle. Because there are differences, and not just in how you fuel them, it's important for drivers to be educated on the unique operation, maintenance and driving strategies required to maximise vehicle safety and efficiency. So providing EV training for drivers, outlining how to charge the vehicle and how to drive it is and should be an essential part of a fleet's electrification strategy, and it's a really key element to the success of any EV transition plans. There are a number of fairly small but crucial differences, which means that a driver who jumps straight into an EV from an internal combustion engine vehicle will not be getting the best out of it. So some important education points to make your drivers aware of are, as an example, charging and the charging network, how to actually charge the vehicle, the different types of charging options and where you can charge that vehicle. Also, best practice on charging. So for example, the domestic 3-pin plug charger shouldn't be used continuously to charge an electric vehicle. It's actually kind of a last resort method or a battery top-up solution, and shouldn't be the primary method to charge the vehicle. Best practice as well for the maintenance and optimum use of the battery. For example, it's best practice to not let your EV battery completely run out of charge or to charge it fully to 100% full charge. Kind of between 20 to 80% charge is the battery sweet spot and is the best for energy efficiency. Also the difference in acceleration found in an EV. Many electric cars have faster acceleration than average ICE cars, largely due to more quickly available torque of an electric motor. You should make your drivers aware of that. And as well, what happens in the event of a breakdown? What happens if the battery runs out of charge or there's a battery failure? All really, really important stuff to be educating your drivers on. As an employer, you have a duty of care towards your company drivers, and so information like this needs to be communicated to drivers when they opt for or are provided with an EV for the first time. Knowledge is power, quite literally in this sense. What is also important is mindset. Understandably, there will be some uncertainty among drivers around moving to EVs, and in many cases, driver mindset is considered one of the biggest barriers to adoption. With the right driver education and support, you can address any preconceptions or uncertainty your drivers may have, allowing for a really positive mindset towards electric vehicles. So, DriveTech have developed a portfolio of electric vehicle training and educational resources specifically aimed at EV drivers. We have an EV familiarisation module that looks at the safe use and efficient operation of electric vehicles, and also covers how to charge the EV, best practice for charging, and guidance around journey planning. We also offer 2 EV familiarisation workshops available for online delivery via MS Teams for car and van drivers. With our van workshop, we look specifically at load, range, and maximising performance. As I said earlier, there are not insignificant differences between driving a regular car and van and driving a battery-powered car or van, and these workshops help to bridge that gap. We also as well have on-road EV training. So we have a 90-minute familiarisation and introductory on-road course, one-to-one with a driver trainer in vehicle, and a more in-depth EV on-road course that follows on from the familiarisation course and looks at safe vehicle operation efficiency in practice and coaching for maximising range. Whatever your budget and requirements, we can work with you and your drivers to make sure that there is a positive mindset towards EV adoption and that your drivers are suitably educated and trained to get the most out of their electric vehicle and ensure a successful EV transition and adoption. So, thank you for listening. If you want any further information on what I've spoken about, my email address is at the top of the slide, and you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, Emma Loveday. Thanks.